Welcome back, everybody, to the Reinvent Yourself, Discovering Your Higher Purpose podcast. I'm your host, Andres Ruiz, and I am really excited to have, I would say, not only an author of the book, the first book, Reinvent Yourself, but also somebody that I really admire and I appreciate. Definitely somebody that I look up to because of her journey in regards to her health and just her life. And I've known this person for, I want to say 2 years, maybe more. I feel like time flies by so quickly that sometimes we forget, what year it is sometimes. So we have Teresa Guerrero, and she's one of the authors, and I'm really happy to have her here. How you doing today, Teresa?
Great. It's a pleasure to be with you, Andres.
Absolutely. The feeling is mutual. So Teresa, just to kind of like let the audience know, mm, let's talk about your story. Like, tell us about like what was your story about that you wrote in Reinvent Yourself?
I wrote about becoming aware of needing to make a life change. I had made the decision to use a vegan diet, recognizing that I was in a category of pre diabetic. Having made that adjustment, I felt like, okay, things are good. I'm able to control my blood sugar levels and it feels like I'm on the right path. However, when I went to a grocery store and I attempted to pick up a watermelon from the very bottom of a case at the grocery store, I found that I wasn't able to do it. And it was shocking to me. I was in my late 50s at the time and I thought, this isn't the way I want to live the rest of my life, not being able to do simple tasks, kind of the daily operational things that we take for granted. Consequently, I was fortunate enough to be aware that if I don't make a change, things are only going to get worse from here on out. And so a friend had invited me over for lunch and she had asked somebody to join her. Looking at this man that walked in, it was immediately apparent that he was a bodybuilder. And I thought, what a perfect person to ask. What's your recommendation of what I need to do or where should I go to try and maintain and build strength and flexibility? Fortunately, he was really kind, very willing to share, had a lot of experience. As it turns out, he himself is a competitive power lifter. So he pointed me in the right direction. As a
Nice.
result of this conversation, it really led me to a place that I now consider a second home for myself. And
Nice.
that is the gym that I currently belong to, Tucson Strength. It has been an eye opening experience because I never perceived myself as a gym rat, somebody who would be excited to go to the gym. And I can tell you now, after 4 years, it'll be 5 in July. I feel really committed. Like my day isn't complete if I don't get to my gym and do the things that I know are continuously helping me to grow as a person, not only physically, but socially, mentally, cognitively. The exercises even are wonderful for helping me to not go on the slippery slope of decline, right? So
Yeah. Wow,
that
that's awesome. And yeah, that's a great story that you shared of how you noticed there was a challenge that you were having and you were just shocked as to you not being able to pick up this watermelon and something that maybe in the past was something very easy. You didn't even think about it. You're like, okay, I can pick up a watermelon. But you had a realization, but you also had a choice. And the choice that you had was, oh, well, like maybe, it's my age, or maybe like this is how life is, whatever it is. But no, you said to yourself, I need to make a change. And because you said you needed to make a change, now you started to look around you and finding that person that was the person that could help you. I think in a way you attracted this person to you because you were looking for a sign or somebody to help you, and it was this person that decided to help you. So, you got into working out. I know that you also made some changes when it came to the foods that you were eating. Tell us a little bit about that journey and just maybe some of the challenges that you had along the way when it came to switching up your diet as well.
And I think part of the experience is reflecting back as I was thinking, how did I get to this point of taking these new risks for myself? I really thought this isn't something that developed yesterday or the day before, but going back to who I'm as an individual, I think I honor that I was very much interested in high school, setting myself apart, being able to really say, yes, I am somewhat of a risk taker, not a huge risk taker, but definitely believing that I have it in me to try something that gives me a little bit of fright and not
Mm,
feeling particularly comfortable.
yeah.
And when my attention was called by the doctor regarding the pre-diabetic diagnosis, it was enough of a wake-up call to say, I don't want to develop the onset of this disease, knowing how detrimental it can be. While it is manageable, most definitely, if I can do everything in my power to prevent it, then certainly I will. And having read the possibility of using a vegan diet to make changes, I knew that I had the ability to believe in myself and perceive myself differently than I had in previous years. I think I was always a little reluctant to believe that I have the capability to be that strong, athletic body type, having seen myself as more of a softer body type that a few extra pounds and having valued the joy and the love that comes from family dinners and family meals, because it is an expression culturally of our love for one another when we get together and share food. And it isn't exclusive to Latinos, certainly, but I know that in my household growing up, it was very much something we all enjoyed together and we look forward to, and to not take an additional serving was almost a slight that you didn't feel like people
Mm,
knew how much you appreciated their effort and how delicious it was. And I was a member of the Clean Plate Club, and that was a mindset shift to be able to say, I don't have to eat every last bite, even though I may be enjoying it thoroughly. If I want to eat the food, I can, but I really know now how important it is to not eat all of it. I can taste it, I can enjoy it and savor it, but I don't need to always have the full quantity or save a little bit for tomorrow. So that has definitely been part of the growing and transformation experience, is seeing myself differently than I did before. And I think my limitations were self-imposed, that I'm the one who is the sister, the daughter who is a Clean Plate Club member, the one who um, really makes sure that everyone knows how much she enjoyed the food. And as I learned to step away from that perception, it helped me to see myself differently and grow
wow.
in a way that I appreciate now, that I have the discipline, the strength to say, the priority right now is for me to maintain my health, to keep as much of my health as I can. And if it means sacrificing those things that taste good, I'm willing to do it, because I want to be able to physically do lots of things that are available to me still in this lifetime. And so making that transition, it's really all for me a mental perception of who I am and who I can be and who I want to be. So making the choice to use a diet that was going to be helpful in this journey. And certainly, as I have now developed into being a competitive power lifter, I recognize the need to make further adjustments in learning how to get in 100 grams of protein a day. And that alone can be a challenge, and trying to figure out how do I do it means maybe cutting out a few more carbohydrates than I really like and figuring a way to make it still taste good. And as I've gone through this experience, I now can see how I appreciate foods in a way that may be different than before. I can appreciate not only the texture and the taste, but how they're working for me and the choices that I make. I can certainly enjoy those carbohydrates, but making deliberate choices about which ones and when and all of that will help me as I look towards these goals that I have now set for myself.
Wow. Yeah, definitely like so much that you said was very, I'm sure, resonating with a lot of people here because, like you said, clean up that plate. I know I was part of that club too. I mean, even to this day, I still clean up the plate pretty well. But, but like you said, I think you being aware of it and saying, hey, you know what? Like, I do want to eat this, but I also got to make sure that I'm taking care of myself. And I think the power of what you did was also noticing that in a way you were trying to like please others by showing them your love as well in that manner. And then once you realize that you didn't have to do that, that you didn't have to eat the whole plate, and then saying, okay, I gotta also think about this because if I don't take care of myself, then my life can be shortened because of that whole pre-diabetic experience that you had. And it sounds like that was a challenge in itself, just by not having to continuously eat the foods to make other people happy. For people out there that struggle with this, which I know people do struggle with this, what kind of advice would you give those people that might be dealing with that challenge of the people pleaser?
Most definitely be gracious and patient with yourself. Seek
Mm,
out those supports that can help you, whether it being your own cheerleader, having friends, family, um, having a spiritual practice that helps you. In my home, if you walk into any of the hallway or bedrooms, you're going to see posters with lots of affirmations on them because they're reminders to me. By the bathroom mirror, on the back of the door, on the front of the door, they're all prompts that help me to think about what it is that I want and to believe and to say to myself, I have the capability. I am worthy. I want to accomplish these things that I set out for myself. And I believe in me because I know that I can spend a lot of time in my head and I'm making the choice of how that time is going to be spent, whether it's going to be building myself up or breaking myself down. And certainly I encourage people to seek out some of those wonderful books that are available through our public library. I'm a great believer in using our public library and those authors who are about personal development and growth and helping remind us that we have it within us. And sometimes it's just chipping away at that doubt because there is doubt. There is that beat myself up because I had two cookies instead of one cookie and saying,
mm,
let it
mhm,
go. It's a moment, a snapshot in time. I can do
mm.
better in the next hour of my life. I can do better in the next afternoon. It's something that it takes a lot of time, a lot of patience, a lot of willingness to say, I am going to step out of who I normally would be with myself, critical, doubtful, insecure. And I'm going to try using some of these strategies that authors have long promoted of how we have the capability. We are worthy. We are very incredible human beings and believing that our potential is limitless. And I think I'm always on this journey, but certainly I can see how I've grown over time. And I believe strongly it's because of those action steps by actually putting those words into action. And it is scary than most things when you have to walk into a new environment, not knowing anyone, unsure if you're capable, but saying, you know what, I'm going back to knowing who I truly am. And that is partially a risk taker. Maybe not crazy risks, but willing to step out of my comfort zone, willing to try something new, willing to believe that I have what it takes. And so, what if I fail? What if it doesn't go the way I would have liked? Well, I have the capability to start each moment again because I'm given that gift. And so I'm going to take advantage of it and try my best. And certainly, I think I've learned that just being patient and willing to acknowledge those incremental gains because they are incremental. Life each and every day, it feels like moment by moment. If we can just live that moment to the best of our ability, then we have a shot at saying, you know what? I did pretty good this past hour. I passed on that extra cookie. I passed on, sitting here, whereas I went out for a walk instead. And so I think just acknowledging ourselves and being forgiving when things don't go as we would have liked.
I love that. Yeah, definitely a lot of wisdom there for sure. I think people should rewind that and take a moment to listen deeply into that because there's so much to learn there from Teresa. And, Teresa is definitely a very wise woman that I've seen her and her growth throughout these past years that I've seen her. I mean, she just continues to grow. She continues to be a student. I notice that about her, that she's always learning, she's always evolving. And I appreciate that about her because her evolving has helped out other people evolve. I'm sure of it. And another thing that I know that you did was when you started on this journey of healing yourself physically, you then decided to start doing things that were I would say in my opinion that they're out of the norm because really not too many people do this stuff because when I asked you like what you've done and then you started talking about how you lift and I'm like, really? That's really cool. I don't hear a lot of people that, you know, that are talking about like, hey, I'm competing like in regards to bodybuilding and lifting and I'm like, what? No way. So tell us about like that journey, how it started, and then, like what are you up to right now these days in regards to that?
Thank you for asking. I am very excited because now that I've been working on powerlifting for 4 years, going on 5 in July, I had noticed after about 2.5, 3 years, I was lacking a focus. And I decided for me, I needed to set a goal. And the goal was at that point in time to participate in Pima County Senior Olympics. So I had established the goal, worked with the trainer, made sure that I got myself ready. Not sure what was going to happen. I had no idea if 3 people were going to be there or 23. And I was willing to go to the gym and work hard, knowing that I had someplace to be. So
Nice.
that was my first event, was participating in the Senior Olympics powerlifting, where I won my first gold. And it turned out there were 5 competitors in my age bracket, and it was a fabulous experience. And I think the beauty of it was knowing that everyone was there to cheer everyone else on. It didn't matter how people did. We were just acknowledging you're in the arena, you took the risk, you're willing
Yep.
to put yourself out there. And it was the best feeling in the world. Certainly hitting new personal best records was exciting and definitely gave me the impetus to want to do more. I am very blessed to have a beautiful sister who became my personal coach and cook and got me ready and was, of course, there for the event. She had flowers in tow and just was playing the Olympic song as we were on our way to the event, making it
That's
super
cool.
special. And so it was a lot of fun. And she said, next, we're off to state. And I thought, okay, why
Wow,
not? What do
that's
I
cool.
have to lose? So I got to participate at the state level. That was this past November. And as a result of that, I qualified for the national platform, which I am taking my entourage of family. We'll be seven traveling together, going to Des Moines, Iowa in August to participate in the national event. And again, something I never thought I would be somebody who would enjoy powerlifting. And here I am competing at the national level. And I think as a result of this, my excitement now is how do I serve my community with what I feel like I have gained so much from. And so my ambition now is to be able to share with other women, particularly women of color, my age, the excitement, the beauty, the joy of doing something that, like you say, not a lot of people participate in. And I've been reaching out to different places here in Tucson, including a researcher at the university, to find out how we can get this information out, how we can make available access to exercise equipment and gyms to populations who may not normally have access, because it is such a wonderful feeling to be able to do something you've never imagined yourself being capable, much less actually doing. It's a wonderful empowerment that I would like to share with others. And that's what I'm working towards right now. I've got a certification to work with people, and I'd like to gain another certification and see what I can do to give back to the community, because it has given me so much to have this rich experience. And I would love to make it available for others, because as we age, obviously, we do face many challenges. So inevitably, we all need that strength and flexibility. And why not share it now with as many people as we can, instead of waiting till the point of no return when you lose muscle tone and you're either bedbound or not able to get up off a chair, just basic everyday kind of tasks, right? So it's very exciting, and I'll let you know how I do in August.
Yes, please do. Yeah, we definitely want to hear about that. And this is why I keep telling you you're like a hero to me, you know, like I admire you because eventually I will get to that age, and seeing you and what you're doing is showing me the possibility of what is possible for me when I get to that age. You know, that's why I tell you you're somebody I look up to. And I tell everybody when I see you, I tell everybody like, hey, Teresa, she's like a hero to me. And then I remember one time we had your aunt there too, and I was like, okay, she's my second hero now because just how she looks so good at her age. And that's why not only are you inspiring people that are your age, but you're also inspiring people that are like me that will eventually get to your age, and just showing us the possibilities of what's out there for everybody is really cool. So you know, I just want to say thank you again, Teresa, for joining us and sharing your experience. I know that you're right now somebody's listening out there that you definitely gave some insights and some inspiration because maybe they're dealing with something similar. And I love how you continue to reinvent yourself. You That's another thing that I admire about you is you keep reinventing yourself, you keep learning, and that's how I want to be, you know, like it just again, you're showing possibility to people that are your age and also younger that hey, continuous growth, continuous service, continuous type of things that we can do in our lives is ongoing. So again, thank you, Teresa, for your time. We appreciate you. And also thank you, the audience, for tuning in. And we will be seeing you on the next episode of Reinvent Yourself, Discovering Your Higher Purpose podcast. Have a great one. Adios.